I created a Excel spreadsheet with 21 columns so I could check off each day creating these different life habits. I put them up on the wall so the Harvard students could see them. And I try out all those things I just mentioned, which I think that you might want to try out yourself. If you know that making a positive change in your life prevents emotional hijacking, raises your level of intelligence, changes your financial decision making, and ripples out to the people around you, not only to your family, your friends, but also your clients as well, then making a positive change, not at the mindset level, but at the behavioral level, seems like an extraordinary idea for you to do. You can try anything. And I think a lot of these things are common sense. I know I gave a talk on Wall Street once, and this Wall Street analyst stood up in the back and said, Shawn, isn't all this a huge waste of time? I know you're from Harvard and everything, but isn't positive psychology a huge waste of time? I was like, no. And he said, it's a huge waste of time because all of this is common sense. We already know all this. I know all those things up there. I know all this. And, you know, I've heard all this before. And I said, oh, that's great. And I responded, I said, you know, yes, a lot of these things we've heard ever since the ancient Greek philosophers and religious traditions all the way up to the present. Afterwards, though, somebody came up to me and said, do you remember that analyst? And I was like, yeah. And they said, he's the most unhappy person here. Like, he walks into a room, it's like a rain cloud follows him. You know, we don't want to put him on any of the teams because he's toxic. As soon as we put him on team, everyone starts complaining. They start breaking down and they don't get anything done. And what was amazing for me is I thought that that guy, of anyone in the room, was like doing all this already. He was the most positive person here. Like, if somebody's going to make that critique that is common sense, then of course they'd be doing all these different things. But what we're finding is that common sense is not common action at all. Doctors know better than anyone that exercise is important, but of the occupational groups, doctors are one of the least likely to exercise. I talked to a sleep researcher last week, and he was talking about how sleep affects your aging process. And I was like, wow, you know, I was trying to be funny, and it was like, you probably sleep like 16 hours a night, right? And he's like, Shawn, I'm a sleep researcher. I research people at night when they're asleep. When do you think I sleep? And he told me his age, and he looked 10 years older than he said, I'm walking proof of my own research, you know? Which is why we see financial advisors sometimes making bad financial decisions. We see individuals who are like, no information, not actually acting upon it. Information itself is not transformation. I think you know this with your clients, that you can give information, but oftentimes they might not make the right decision. Let me just give you two, and use these as springboards for thinking about one behavioral change you want to try out for the next 21 days. Just one change. I wanted to watch less television. But every time I come home from work, I'd be tired. You know, I'd come home from teaching and be exhausted, so I'd press the on button on the remote control, and then I'd be, you know, watching The Office after coming home from the office. So what I did was, the average American, according to Google, watches 5 to 7 hours of television a day, which I mentioned in China, and they were very impressed with us. So what I did was I played the same trick my brain played upon me with the guitar. I took a stopwatch and walked the batteries from the remote control 20 seconds away to my bedroom, and then watched what happened. The next couple of days, I sat down on the couch, pressed the on button on the remote control, usually repeatedly, and be like, oh, I hate that I do these experiments. I'm like, where is the batteries? And I'm like, oh, they're just 20 seconds away in my bedroom. I timed it. It's only 20 seconds away. Should I go get them? And my brain would go, no, it takes forever to go get those batteries. Let's do something else. I'd be like, okay. And so I had a book that was sitting right there. I had work right there. I had a journal. I had my guitar. I had my phone so I could call my friends and meet up with them for dinner instead of talking to my friends on the television. And so as a result of that, I dramatically decreased the amount of television I watched. In subsequent studies, you don't even need 20 seconds, even though 20 seconds, we all have 20 seconds. You can just unplug the Wii, Xbox, or PlayStation, and you can dramatically decrease how much television and video games a kid will play, because as they walk past it, they're like, oh, I don't want to plug that back in. You can make these decisions all the time. Think about the decisions you want your client to be making. How can you make those bad decisions that they keep making more difficult for them to do in their mind, mentally? But also, if there's good ones, if you want to add something, which I hope what you leave with, because it's got to have effect not only upon you and your business, but upon your clients as well. Walk away with one positive behavioral habit and figure out how to make it easier. So I want to start exercising every morning, which might be one that several of you try. But every morning I wake up and say, do I want to exercise? No. Where are my clothes? Where are my shoes? Where am I going to work out? By that point, I'm falling back asleep. So what I did was I just went to sleep in my gym clothes. My mom wonders why I'm single. They were clean. I don't do it anymore. And I had shoes right next to the bed, and I had a workout routine, and I knew where else to work out. I dropped the activation energy, the initial investment of energy necessary to start the task, by 80%. All I had to do was roll out of bed and put my feet right into the shoes, and then I could exercise. And as a result of that, I created a life habit of exercise, and now I don't even have to think about that in the morning. You know, that it's something I just naturally do and miss it when I don't do it.